and welcome back to Through the Smoke. I'm David, the Funk Master Flittle.
I'm Bobby, Lord Master, Chester Masterston, Esquire the Third.
I'm Jesse.
And I'm Eric.
So tonight we have a couple different smokables that were brought in for us specifically for tonight. We'll go first.
I've got 4 new tobaccos, one of which we've all had and we all basically have. And that is GLP's Gaslight. Also got Mac Barron's H&H Acadian Perique. And I have Blue Mountain. I forget who it is.
It's a McClellan.
McClellan,
Yeah.
McClellan. And then I have got
Blackwood's Flake.
Blackwood's Flake.
Yeah.
McClellan as well. So I've got those 3 to we'll see which ones we open tonight.
Yeah.
The 2 McClellan blends and the GLPs, those 3 are very highly rated blends. So
Yes.
Extremely highly rated.
I don't know about the Acadian Perique. I'm curious to try that.
Same here. It was the Blackwoods and the Perique that were the ones that I was thinking.
It piqued my interest too. Since we've all had Gaslight.
Yeah, but I will say I'm the only one of the 3 of us who has not bought any Gaslight.
Right.
I think I've only smoked 1 or 2 bowls of it as well.
But you pretty much have access to Gaslight.
Whatever, yeah, I mean, that's not a
You
problem.
want some Gaslight? Sure, we got
See, and this is the importance of finding a group of friends that smoke often and usually together, because then what's my tobacco is your tobacco. Because how many times have I refilled your Butterberry since I got that 5-ounce one?
Yeah.
Or how many times have we just been like, this 10 ain't doing it for me. Here you go.
Yeah. So.
It's a good thing.
Oh yes.
Well, in addition to Eric's pipe tobacco haul, I have 4 candella wrapped cigars. Now, I'm going to distribute these while I discuss. For those of you who have not had a candella, you're missing out. It's just a different kind of wrapper, as it would be like a Maduro or a Connecticut. Candellas, of course, the first thing you're going to notice is they're green. They're Gumby-like. The wrapper's really usually very smooth.
Wow.
And the reason it's green is because it's cured fast enough to where the chlorophyll gets locked into the leaf. These used to be, Candellas wrapped cigars, one of the most popular types of cigars on the market.
Yeah.
In fact, they're called American Market Select, whereas Connecticut wrappers are English Market Select.
Because they were just that popular.
They were just that popular.
In those respective
Tons of Candellas made and sold. And part of that might have been, it's quicker to cure the wrapper leaf than it would be like a Maduro where you got to ferment it and all that good stuff. But they're extraordinarily mild, or at least traditionally. The candela we have tonight is the Fuente 858 Florfina, which is a fantastic stick in its own right in the natural and especially the Maduro.
Oh yeah.
So I've had these before in candela, so I'm looking forward to lighting this one up.
This will be my first.
Yes.
Same here.
So I guess I'm the only one that's had a candela.
I've had one with you, and I don't remember if it was the
I
Fuente.
believe it was a Rocky.
Yeah. I think that's what it was. So, I am a huge fan of the 858s from Fuente. To me, they are the epitome, the epitome of Fuente's consistency. I've
agree with that.
really enjoyed any one that I've picked up. I mean, it's not necessarily anything to write home about, but Fuente itself is a brand that
They're a reliable smoke.
It's like the old adage, you can't go wrong with Romeo and Juliet. It's the same way with Fuentes. Like, I've never had a bad Fuente.
No.
Maybe not necessarily a spectacular one, but never a bad one.
Well, I've had a few spectacular ones, especially the Maduro Hemingways.
Oh my God, yes, those are little gems right there. If you can get your hands on any Maduro Hemingway, do it. You won't be disappointed at all.
All right.
So I just realized something.
What's that?
Here we are smoking a green cigar.
Shortly after St. Patrick's Day.
It's not only close to St. Patrick's Day, but today is the first day of spring.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Hey!
It's not like we planned that or anything, right?
No.
Wow, looky there.
You would think that we're on top of the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would be wrong.
All you really know is we like fell out of the stands onto the ball, and you're just catching us as we roll off.
Yeah.
That's good.
Now, one thing that I'll have to say, and probably you two said that you've never smoked candellas before, but my first candela, I've smoked an actual candela with Jesse here, and that, like he said, that was the Rocky Patel. The other candela I smoked, it's hard to say whether or not that should be an experience to list on there's Dutch Masters. Yeah. It's those gas station boxes with like 5 sticks in them.
Oh.
And like the whole box is $3.
Oh.
And it had candelas.
Oh.
And
You had one.
yeah. I smoked about a half of the first stick and then had to just throw the box away.
Bad.
Oh, it was bad.
Wow.
You know, Garcia y Vega also makes a machine made called Game, and they're flavored, but it's also a candela. And before I was big into cigars, I would smoke those while I was on the riding mower.
Yeah.
You know, if you drop it, didn't really care, but
It didn't really matter at that point.
start a grass fire. But
Yeah. You fling embers everywhere. Yeah.
See, I didn't have enough lawn to get a riding lawnmower, so I had to push one.
Well, I worked with my grandfather, and that's all we did.
Nice.
So I'd knock out 15 yards a day.
Yeah.
Back home, I grew up in an area that's known for its arid climate, but we always had lawnmowers around and stuff, not for the grass, but for very small mesquites and shrubs and other things that may catch on fire very easily, because all we had was sand and cacti and some mesquites. But yeah, it was extraordinarily dry, so we kept everything mowed just because we didn't want fires.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, there was no prettiness to that. There was
Yeah,
no
and the
Preventative measures.
Yeah, in the Chicago suburbs, I'm not really worried about brush fires
No.
as much.
No.
You know. So first impressions for those who have not smoked candelas.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I can't put a flavor on it, really. Not like a very strong flavor per se. There's no one thing that sticks out in my mind.
Mine's got a soft spot.
I noticed that.
Hmm.
Pretty big one.
Yeah. There.
Well, that'll even out soon.
Yeah.
I will say first thing that's just completely different is the fact that they are really not peppery at all at the very beginning.
No.
You don't get that at all. You get earthiness.
It's like you're smoking, and you're not getting much flavor at all.
No.
So you're like, am I smoking?
Yeah. They're very
cool.
grassy, very light. Like
It's
you're
very
just
cool.
To me, it's almost akin to like trying to smoke. This is what smoke in and of itself tastes like.
Right.
Yeah.
When it's not mixed with the flavors of what it was burning. Like this is almost pure smoke.
I would agree with that. Yeah, very light, very grassy. Just not really anything to it. Certainly not bad at all. It's just it's so light.
Yeah.
I guess mine reminds me if you've ever oversteeped green tea.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of the flavor I'm getting.
A hint
Yeah.
of sharp, just a sharpness that's
Yes.
present in, and it's not even necessarily tea as much as just an agricultural sharpness. You know, plants. That's interesting. Yeah, I can divine that.
So, some people love them, most people don't.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting how it shifted.
It is. And especially nowadays, the trend is stronger, bolder, bigger.
Yes.
Right?
The biggest and boldest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know
Yeah.
a thing or two about that.
Yeah. So on St. Paddy's Day, I got together with these gentlemen here, and we smoked some pipe tobacco. But I also tried the EP. I think it's Carrillo. I think it is.
Yeah.
They call it the Inch, and I got the 7x70 cigar.
It wasn't necessarily a cigar.
It was hard to look at it when he said
I couldn't look
Yeah,
at the eye.
let's just say that it was a little bit awkward to smoke an all male company I'd love to see what a girl smoking that would look like.
Hey!
Speaking of huge green gates, at the smoke shop the other day, we saw it huge. What was it, 60, 70?
You know, I'm betting it was 65, but this thing that Dave had was bigger.
Yeah.
It looked like he had like
that big around,
mutilated a
7 inches long.
a well-endowed man in
Yeah. Like,
Oh dear.
but it was actually not overpowering.
No.
It was fairly mild.
It had it had a nice flavor.
It had a really rich flavor, and I noticed that with so much tobacco, you would think it would get very bitter quicker as you smoke through it, and it didn't.
Yeah.
But yes, so bigger and bolder, and that's the trend. Now, I think though, at least in my opinion, that stems from a bigger push, especially as of late in like the last 4 years, for boutique cigars and boutique brands.
And I think it also has to do with the quantity of smoking.
True.
The typical cigar smoker probably indulges in 1 to 2 a week.
Yeah.
And so he really wants that to be an experience, right?
So, well, you're definitely not in the typical.
No, I'm not typical. I don't think any of us. Well, you're definitely. I don't think much of us are typical.
No.
You know, they're having 1 to 2 cigars a week, and they really want to enjoy it and make
The
it an
recreational
experience.
smoker.
A candela is kind of for somebody who smokes every day,
Yeah.
and they light it up with breakfast.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of their thing. So, because there's not really a whole lot of flavor to sit back and contemplate. It's just a smoke.
Yeah.
An easy smoke.
Yeah. Very light, very
Yeah.
easy.
This is something that you'd want to smoke like on the golf course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your mind is elsewhere.
No big
you
deal.
may
You
have
don't
a
wanna be
couple
thinking
drinks
about the
in
flavors.
you.
You're just smoking.
You're just smoking.
Yeah.
And I do not go golfing without a cigar.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, I should. Let me rephrase that. I don't go like a full 18 without a cigar.
Okay.
Like I'm not gonna go to like a driving range and there's like a bunch of kids with their dads like next to me.
You got a big old cigar.
Yeah, like puffing away, smoking out the. No. When I'm out on the actual course, driving around my little cart, waving down the drink girl, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, like that. Then I'll get a cigar.
We need to all go
Waving
golfing
down or
sometime.
waving at?
Hey.
How you doing?
Hey.
How many old guys have hit on you?
You did.
Yeah. Oh, that was.
I bet you're getting lots of tips today.
Oh.
No, not like that.
But yes.
But
Anyway.
yes. Yeah.
So
we need to go golfing.
We do.
We've.
I suck at it, but
Well,
I like
that's
it.
okay.
Yeah.
You think I can find clubs that fit me?
Well, you need a kid set.
Yeah.
I would take a kitty set. It'd be fine. I could probably kick some ass with a kitty set. It's got to be a heavy
Probably.
kitty set, but
So,
Haven't
but
been in a hot minute.
yes, you're right that the amount of smoking has gone down.
yes,
I feel like the public opinion of smoking definitely has gone down. But what I have seen with a lot of the boutique brands and boutique blends is they're not able to put out one of every type of cigar, like back when the big brands were almost all you had. So they would come out with a Candela, they'd come out with a Maduro, they'd come
Fuente
out
would have 6
Yeah.
or 7 lines
But-
of
and-
everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, you didn't have a chance to really branch out like that, or you didn't have, you know, a market wide enough to then be able to pick and choose once you got your name out there.
Yes.
Now it's whatever you can pick up, you pick up.
It's very narrow but deep as far
Yes,
as.
and I remember watching a video a while ago on the Cigar Aficionado site.
Okay.
And they were talking to a boutique blender, and the reason he started blending and rolling, which eventually got to the point where he hired out for rollers now, and he has a factory in the Caribbean now. But while he was blending, it's because he couldn't find a cigar he liked, and so he wanted to put out the cigar that he would smoke.
There you go.
So I feel like that's a completely different mindset of getting into the cigar business than what it was about when, you know,
Yeah,
some of the bigger brands first started.
It reminds me a lot of talking to some of the older people about pipe smoking, because nowadays we have, nearly the same thing with pipe tobacco. I mean, you have massive variations and one-off blends and all kinds of things. And I remember, talking to some of the older guys, when you went down to the drugstore and you picked up, 8 ounces of cherry tobacco, and that's what you smoked, or whatever they had there, and that's all you smoked.
Just the regular.
If you were lucky, you'd be able to find a Dunhill blend, but that's probably about it.
Yeah.
Captain Black.
Yeah.
And Old Lane bulk stuff.
Old Lane, yeah. But you smoked a blend, and that's what you smoked your whole life. It reminds me of Oh Brother Where Art Thou, Well, I don't have any Dapper Dan. Damn it, I'm a Dapper Dan man. I don't want pop. It's the same thing. That's what they did.
No.
So it's definitely the same thing I think with cigars, is you picked a brand that you could get a hold of, and you smoked that brand. And if they only had 1 or 2 cigars, in a little drugstore, that's all you smoked, that's all you ever smoked.
That poses an interesting question. If there was only 1 or 2, let's be generous, let's say 5. If there were only 5 blends of tobacco, pipe tobacco, would you be a smoker? Would you smoke a pipe?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a good question. I find that I have an extraordinarily short attention span.
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
And so for me,
Squirrel.
Squirrel, yeah. Variety is the spice of life. So I don't know if there was only, 5 pipe tobaccos. I may not be as avid of a smoker as I am now.
But you wouldn't know any different either.
But I wouldn't know any different either.
That's what I was.
And that's the only thing.
And that's the point I was going to bring up.
Hindsight is 20/20.
If it was all of a sudden we woke up tomorrow and
Yeah.
regulation came about with the Bass-Ackwards way that Washington works or whatever, right? That we are limited to only 5 blends in the United States.
It would
Then
depend on
all of us that know all of these multitude of different blends, that would suck ass.
Oh yeah, it would.
But if it was just you only ever had 5, you would know the difference.
Exactly.
I would continue smoking just as much because I will admit I'm more of a cigar person than a pipe person than the 3 other guys here. So I just don't go out and try many pipe tobaccos. I still have tins that were given to me, a couple of years ago that still have, almost a third left, if not 2/3 left, because I just don't smoke pipes as often.
Yeah.
So being limited on what blends I can smoke anyway wouldn't matter to me. I'd just find which one I liked and just continue to smoke it as often as I would.
Yeah.
It would cut down on, the number of pipes I'd have to have.
Yeah.
yeah, it would.
Yes, it would.
I'd have 3 or 4, and we'd probably call it good until I turned them out. And
Yep.
then,
Because would be out of business.
You'd still have as many
I'd
pipes
still
as
have
you
as
do.
many.
yeah.
No, there are people that, they're into pipe smoking because they like to collect the pipes. There are
Yep.
people who are into pipe smoking because they like to try all these different types of tobacco. Then there's some that just need the nicotine and
Yeah.
combinations thereof.
Yes. Yes. So it's a wide and varied hobby,
Yes, it is.
and so because of that, it has a fair mix of constituency.
Yeah, I would agree. It is.
So, but
I would say my answer to the question, would I still be a smoker? Probably, because that would mean that I'm still hanging out with you guys. So,
Yeah.
you know,
yeah, and I mean,
we're still gonna sit around. We're gonna smoke. We're gonna
Yeah.
shoot the shit. It's gonna be good.
yeah.
Oh, most definitely, I would still have.
Now it would be interesting though, because that would definitely affect tobacco shops.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Because tobacco shops have a rich history where the person behind the counter was actually a tobacconist.
Yes.
They were a specialist in the blending and mixing and care and preparation of tobacco.
even if they only had 3 or 4 blends, they could make a blend for you
Yes.
because they had Cavendish and Virginias and Burleys on hand and stuff.
You had an old Dunhill catalog from, when was it from?
The 20s.
Yeah, well it was a reprint
Right.
The one from the 20s.
of a 1920s Dunhill catalog, and in it they had a bunch of different tobacco blends, and they were like named like Jeff's Blend or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head.
What was in there? There was an ordering form that said, you know, if you want us to blend you a tobacco,
Yes.
either mention what it's close to or
Yeah.
give us a sample, and we'll go from there. So you know
And then it
they.
asks, do you primarily like, Virginia blends, or do you like Latakia?
Yeah.
Do you smoke all day, or only some of the day?
Yeah, it was very specific, and
It's
it,
tailoring.
It was tailoring it.
yeah, oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Which
it's
I-
actually pretty slick.
I think
I
they
think
should
that's it.
bring it
Man's
back.
store idea?
Man's store idea.
that's not,
Hey!
so,
We'll each have our own specialty blends. That
yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So we've toyed around with the idea for the man store for a while now, and eventually the four of us will probably open it up.
Yeah.
I sure hope so.
We
I really want to.
Oh yeah.
Now, eventually means either, next year or...
when we're 65.
Or-
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It's gonna get opened down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes. We've talked about, and we've got a couple minutes before we have to take a break, but we've talked about the varied backgrounds we all have. But aside from that, we also have artisan backgrounds of a sense
Yes.
that are all very different. And
And we'll talk about that in the next section.
Yeah.
we'll fill you in on kind of
I want it to happen, and I want it to happen soon, but I feel like I'm okay with it not happening because I want it to happen right. It's not a...
No, we don't need to rush it.
Let me save up my millions in the IT world.
This
and
is
then we'll
not
go
a
from there.
slap together, this is not a Frankenstein's monster of a... What?
I got my millions.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we'll fund it that way. It'll be good.
Yeah, so...
I'm being a little facetious. I really won't make millions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it won't really be
And hold that
millions.
note all day.
Yeah.
It might be in the hundreds of thousands, but not the millions.
Yeah.
Let's be fair. Anyways.
Alright, so we'll take a quick break, and then we'll see you in a little bit.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
We had to retrieve coffee.
Yes, that was necessary. We also needed to take a little bit of a breather, and after
My facetiousness.
it was getting pretty thick in here.
Yeah.
Well,
not from the smoke. Let's just
Not
leave
my
it at
fault you didn't put your boots on this morning.
that. Okay.
Yeah!
I would hope you wear them.
Actually, I'm wearing shorts. I'm not wearing boots.
He likes.
We've all
to
done it.
lead.
If you've got boots, you've done it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
God knows I've done it.
Yeah.
It was not pretty.
So, we were talking about during the break the flavor progression of candellas.
Right.
And that, to me, I feel like that's a topic that's like talked about, but also just kind of breezed over in a lot of reviews and things like that. Like only whenever you sit down and you see one of those reviews where they actually like take pictures of the cigar as it burns throughout. They talk about the beginning and the middle of that. But like if you just look at like general on a website, something like that, or in like a magazine or something like that, you get a little glimpse of what it says. It's flavor profile of like a little bit of hint of coffee and earthy undertones with a nice rich
Fine Corinthian leather.
yeah, exactly, fine Corinthian leather, stuff like that. It pretty much bullshit.
Yep. Well, it reminds me almost of like Scotch reviews online because you get like smell, which are ridiculous. Oh my god! And then you get like smell, like nose, mouthfeel, and flavor, and that's it. And you're like,
so like when I want to know about a cigar, I want to know how it smokes, not what it tastes like, because taste can be different from person to person to person.
how it progresses.
Yeah, but how it progresses, how it actually handles, like take it through the curves, the Autobahn test or whatever it is, right? Like I don't want to just see it in the showroom, so to speak.
Yeah, I agree.
I
agree.
I don't know. I feel like they owe it to me. But I do remember one of the big scares, and so I don't know if you're familiar with Cigar Rights of America, all of you listeners out there, right? There's a petition that they have people sign because they were afraid the FDA is going to do a bunch of things. And one of their suspected, because they don't know for sure what exactly any FDA regulations would actually have effects on. But one of their suspected ones was that you would no longer be able to do those types of flavor profiling advertisements. So you wouldn't be able to say subtle hints of coffee.
Because flavors are...
In fact, you couldn't advertise.
You couldn't advertise at all.
Yeah.
Because what, flavors are enticing?
Well, the extent of it would be a black and white itemized list of the cigar and its price.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because any flavors would be trying to entice people to smoke.
Which is...
Especially the children.
Oh, God forbid. But, you know, we've got all these vape stuff, and let's not go there. I want to stay in a good mood this evening. To lighten the mood, let's...
No.
You
have to, like, earlier, tonight, this man.
Yeah.
Remember that abomination we brought on the show a little while ago?
The E-pipe.
The E-pipe? He sold it!
Finally! Finally!
We got that shit out of here! It's gone! Huzzah!
It's never coming back.
So, to put it nicely, about damn time.
God dang it.
No. I would say that, but the fact that that thing existed to begin with is an affront to me.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I will accept that. Anyways, so yes, our little artisan hobbies on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, you want to kick it off for us?
I am beginning my endeavor into making knives.
More specifically,
I am toying with designs for you pipe smokers out there and for us pipe smokers, a plug knife.
Yeah!
It'll be a fixed blade, which, you know, a lot of people want a plug knife. They want it to fit in their pocket and carry it with them, right? But I'm thinking more of I'll make a nice little cutting tray or cutting board and a stand that is associated with.
You're gonna cut.
You're gonna cut some damn plug, damn it.
Or rope or whatever.
And I saw some of the original, like the initial drawings.
Oh, that's beautiful. They're gonna be amazing.
Yes.
We've had a little bit of input on it, and they're gonna be fantastic.
Yeah.
That's all.
I've got one prototype in the makes right now, and I need to go through the steps of finishing it. But I'm hoping that it works well, and if it works well, I've got a modified version which hopefully will work better. So we'll see what happens.
And he's got commissions already.
I've got so many commissions.
Yo, you've got.
The order book's already closed, and I barely started.
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty fantastic. David?
I don't know. I guess
You started on it, and then you put it down, and you need to pick it back up.
I need to pick it back up. I roll cigars, and I'm toying
Pretty
with.
damn fine cigars.
Yeah, they were tasty. They were ugly as
Which
fuck.
I have yet to have.
I know.
You'll get there. We'll get there.
You will have the next one. The only issue I have right now is I just don't have a proper storage place for my leaves. And also because of Texas being wonky and having its own specific tax for leaves, I don't have a way unless where I'm ordering from pays the Texas tax, to pay it myself. So if all of a sudden I were to be raided in my apartment, and they find all that tobacco leaf,
Tax fraud!
yeah, and that's a federal offense, you know.
Hey, that's my vote.
So I just with the mix of
where do you live, David?
Yeah. These videos are posted by proxy. I'm just gonna let you know.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, no, but so with a mix of just not being able to store it very well in proper conditions, and just not wanting to rock the boat too much, I just haven't really gotten into it. But the cigars I did roll were pretty dang good, and I want to get back into the triple Maduros.
They were good.
They were good.
They were good.
It was good.
It was different than any Maduro flavor I've had before, but it was
Yeah, I gotta try Jesse's. I never had one myself, but they were.
Ooh, yeah. So that's what I do craftsmanship wise. Otherwise, I guess just
be a scientist.
Yeah, I'm a scientist. So I can maybe come up with something scientific about.
You can use your biology skills and help us grow new strains of tobacco specifically for pipe blends.
I actually wanted to get into growing some tobacco plants, and so
And sugarcane.
yeah, and sugarcane, and maybe some sorghum. So that was my ideas for my end of
Your
the
contribution
yeah.
to man stuff.
Yeah. Besides just my dashing good looks.
No!
He'd be the face.
Now it's
Yeah.
now it's getting thick.
Yeah, now it's getting
But
thick.
just saying.
A lot smoother though.
Oh.
Facepalm.
Yeah. Anyway, I dabble in mixology for one. For those of you out there, that is the creation of new cocktails and fun drinks and things. I also dabble in the home for personal use production of fine alcohol spirits, which, ironically enough, I run into the same tax fraud problem as
Yeah,
David
so it's
here.
personal use only.
Yeah.
Personal use
only.
Yep.
Texas, the TABC has an interesting stance on distilling. They don't care, per se, if you do it for yourself. However, any one single drop of ethanol produced from a still, anywhere in the US right now, if it has not been had taxes paid upon it to the TTB, it is tax fraud, which is a federal offense. Just like tobacco leaves, you know, so...
Yeah, and so it's weird to think that, like, you know,
You
just...
can do it, but you can't.
Yeah,
You can do it, but you can't. So I live in a bit of a gray area there, and ironically enough, the actual craft production of alcohol spirits, not just beer and wine, but actual spirits, is taking off in the U.S. as is mixology.
Yeah.
I mean, it's seeing this massive resurgence. So it's kind of an interesting time to be in, because almost with and it's not quite the same, but it's very reminiscent of the legalization of marijuana in certain states, because federally speaking, it's still illegal. It's still a gray area, but
Yeah.
there's quite a few states that are starting to relax their policies on it, you know, and
Don't do anything stupid.
pretty much, you know, and that's the deal is moonshining has just as strong a taboo, if not a stronger taboo, than smoking pot.
Yeah,
You know,
well, it's been around longer.
Mm-hmm. It's been around longer, and you know, and,
At least in the legal sense.
in a legal sense, it's been around much longer, and
Yeah.
part of the reason that there are such interesting laws towards distilling at a federal level is because many of the laws that were enacted in Prohibition were never retracted. They just, in general, made it all kind of legal again. They repealed the 19th Amendment, but any laws that came afterwards, they still didn't change.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I hope to see them relax some of their laws soon.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, you know, I mean,
yeah, exactly. Not gonna.
I'm not hurting anyone.
When I went up to, because I went to Colorado this past weekend for a PhD program interview. But going up there, Colorado, as you all know, has now legalized recreational use of marijuana.
Yes.
However, driving up there, I heard on the radio almost every single commercial break at least one anti-tobacco smoking commercial. Like, Colorado can quit, and, you know, people giving interviews about, like, it's like, I used to love to dance, now I can't dance. And, like, he lifts up his shirts, and he's got, like, this massive scar, and it's like...
I used to smoke tobacco.
Yeah, and so, like, every single, almost, you know, like, there'd be a couple breaks where it wasn't, but almost every single commercial break, there was one anti-smoking for tobacco.
But marijuana.
But marijuana has now just been legalized, so there aren't any, you know, you can quit marijuana ads. It's like, why not? Yes, it's completely legal in Colorado.
Yeah.
But at the same time, where are the ads that are saying, hey, just because it's legal doesn't mean you should do it?
Yeah.
Where are those ads?
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of...
Hypocritical.
Yeah.
A little?
A little hypocritical.
The reason why is because it's so new.
Yeah.
I think that's why it hasn't taken off. And I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that they just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah.
Cross
I
your
mean,
fingers thinking
yeah,
that they might
if in the
eventually-
next couple of years they still haven't, then I'll be like,
what's the deal?
Step up your game, Colorado.
Yeah.
Fuck your couch.
And at that
Fuck your
point, if you're in Colorado, you can go ahead and you can start those.
Yeah, so there we go, you know. That'll be it. That'll be it.
David Foodle, the cigar-smoking, anti-smoking man.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
I'm gonna be sitting there in this nice leatherback chair, lighting up a stogie, just being like,
You can quit.
Smell that tobacco. Tasty, not habit forming if you're smoking these. And it doesn't get you fucked up. You know? I can sit here and enjoy this and then drive somewhere.
And then I can drive to go get my propane for my grill.
Yeah.
Because I didn't forget to get the propane for my grill because I got high.
Yeah.
It worked.
Because I got actually, it's gonna fade to black at the end of the commercial, and it's just gonna be because I got high, because I got high, because I got high.
Yeah, that's how it's gonna happen.
I want to have like a Hugh Hefner style smoking jacket,
like a beautiful woman on your arm.
Oh yeah.
Stogie, opulence. I has it.
Yeah.
I'm not smoking marijuana either, am I? No.
Good fall.
Good fall.
All right, and then Jesse.
Oh yes. So I guess I'm the resident pipe maker.
Kicks ass at it.
Yeah.
I make
Kicks ass at it. He just made this today. It's not quite done. This is one of the most beautiful blowfish I think I've ever seen. It's fantastic. It's very, very true to
JonesPipes.com. JonesPipes.com.
Go there.
JonesPipes.com.
Speaking of like hurdles to doing business, so
Okay.
I have a
Kind of a segue.
right. It's like a segue. I have a wholesaler in the UK, and I just sold him 2 pipes.
Okay.
And so I went to the USPS today to try to ship them. Now I knew international shipping would be expensive, and you know I'm shipping pretty expensive merchandise, so I want tracking and I want insurance.
Yeah.
So on the customs form, I got to figure out what to call whatever it is I'm putting in the package, right?
Wood art?
So I put in wooden craft project.
Yes. Okay.
The gal looked through the computer and says, "Oh, I guess we can't send wooden craft projects to the UK."
Oh.
And I was like, "Okay, well, it's like a carving. Try carving." Like, well, that's not in the database. Okay. Why don't you try art? It's just like, okay, is this for commercial use? Yes. We can't ship that to the UK.
Oh, God.
Jeez.
So how did you ship it?
I didn't. And so I went from there to the UPS store. Said, "Do you guys do international?" The gal was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Hallelujah, praise the Lord." And so got up there, started filling everything. They want the phone number of the person it's going to, which is different. And then she's like, "Does your package contain yada 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 samurai swords yada yada yada?" I was like, "Wait, whoa, samurai swords?" It's like, "Did you see this package? It's like this."
You've got a collapsible samurai
It's
sword.
on the list.
It's a foldable.
You're gonna
It's
go.
not a freaking
It's like a
samurai
lightsaber. It's just like shink.
Yeah.
It's gonna
So anyway, I didn't have the chap's phone number, so I had to go get that. But I said, well, how much is it going to cost?
The chaps.
And she was like, "Oh, with tracking and insurance, about $110.
What?
So needless to say, I have not shipped those pipes yet. I'm going to go back to the USPS store.
Look into DHL.
DHL or FedEx
Yeah.
is all I can think.
Yeah.
wow.
Jeez.
So-
Wow.
That's a lot of money.
Red
Yeah.
tape.
Yeah.
Red tape.
That's insane.
It is insane.
Now, can you not say that they're tobacco pipes?
I want to avoid every
Any-
mention of tobacco.
Okay. So,
Like, I suppose I could, but they'd probably be, "Oh, we can't ship that," right?
Yeah. Right.
yeah, maybe artisan wood.
Well, we know.
Well, you can't ship wood.
That's right. Oh, but like to me, it's like, well, it's not in the database. Well, then put it in the damn database.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Like someone is finally shipping something under that designation.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Put it in there.
Yeah.
You know.
And the thing is, I know
They don't have like an other.
I know tons of pipe makers that ship internationally all the time, and so
Talk to them. See what they qualify it as.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 See what they say.
So I'm gonna hit some of them up tonight. And
You bet.
Good choice.
We'll figure it out.
Good choice.
It's gonna happen.
It's
It
gonna
will
happen.
happen.
Oh yeah.
Well, it has to since they're pretty much
I mean, they're paid for it, so I gotta send them.
Hey, you gotta send them.
I could just like catch the money and leave. You know, what's he gonna do? Fly overseas and like
Catch me if you can.
sucker punch me? Well, he might. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir, prepare your
Never seen
fisticuffs.
this guy.
Indeed. Yeah, I've never seen this guy.
Pistols at dawn.
Pistols at
The
dawn.
only thing is, though, I'm sure you're a better shot. So.
Yeah, they don't. They're not. I guess they don't legally. I don't know the gun laws in the UK.
Oh yeah, no.
I don't think they can.
Personal uses. I don't
think they can do that.
No, I don't think they can.
I don't even know if police officers can carry weapons.
No, they don't.
That's what I thought. They have batons. Yeah, belly clubs. Whack. Yeah. I need to give them
Yeah,
nunchucks.
more police officers get stabbed than shot in the UK.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they have a higher rate of bladed weapon or sharp.
I need to be
Weapon.
over there.
Well, you know, when I
No, you do not want to be the guy providing everyone their stabbing.
Their shank-
the purple-shirted eye stabber,
They're stabbing accoutrements.
Yeah.
stabbing accoutrements.
Eric
Yes.
Todd, black market arms dealer.
Yeah. Hey, I am like sales director for your
No,
international
He's not
market
the
anyway.
black market arms dealer.
No, he's not. He's not. Please.
I
We
was
were just
asked.
in so much trouble.
I know.
The ATF's gonna be like sitting back with a bowl of popcorn, watching our videos. Like, yep, boys, these are the ones.
Just a matter of time.
So I'm currently trying to decide on what my next step in my life's journey, if you will be as far as my career goes. And so I've been pondering, and the other night I was watching the show White Collar. It's about an art thief, and I'm like, well, I love art, I like money. Maybe I should be an art thief. Mom didn't like that idea. She was like, I wouldn't be proud of that.
To be fair, I kind of wish I could be what's his name from Burn Notice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, I would do that, you know,
Yeah.
and just do like random for hire, like blowing shit up jobs and
Yeah.
spy work. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm down.
Hey, you could get a government contract now because they're raising the minimum wage. So,
Hey!
so your contracted blowing shit up job might be a little bit more lucrative. You know.
You're right. You're right. Man's throwing profits. Hey! That's it. We'll just start a private security company like Blackwater.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be fantastic.
That would last about 5 minutes when they realized that we probably couldn't chase down anybody.
Me.
Please
Hey, whoa.
Please wait.
Whoever said it was gonna be on foot?
Oh, yeah, true.
Come on now.
Ryan is going to have the official segue.
Yeah.
Halt! You're the name of the law!
I'm gonna have like a little 30 like a 30 caliber machine gun on the Segway and be like,
gosh.
it's gonna be fantastic.
Going 5 miles an hour.
Hey, I can get a Segway going, man. Like, like 45. Come on, man.
No, I don't do that.
No, we're gonna mount the Merc with like a rollback sunroof and have like a 50. It's gonna be like a Humvee. It's gonna be like we're gonna pop out and it's gonna be like, it's gonna be fantastic.
Can we have a hatch on the top?
Yes. Yes.
No sunroof.
No, the hatch. Okay, we'll do a hatch. We'll do a hatch.
Humvee hatch.
Humvee hatch. I'm down. We can do that. We have the tools. We can make
So I'm gonna pop the top, and it's gonna be on the Mac Baron H&H Acadian Puerto.
Ah!
There it was.
That was nice.
Oh yeah.
Music
and-
to my
and-
ears.
And interesting.
Let me get the seal of it in there.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing that I'm a shade afraid of is Mac Baron did not earn the name MacBite for no reason.
Right.
So, not to say every one of their blends is like that, but yeah.
Good call.
Whoa. Interesting.
Yeah.
It almost. Oh, that's hard to place.
I don't know. It's kind of like the Highland blend that I
Yeah.
which I have it. You can compare.
Raspberry.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's almost like got a
Raspberry.
fruity flavor to it.
Oh, that is nice. But that smells just like raspberries.
So, one thing
Yeah, raspberry. Yeah, see, raspberries.
that I think is also very...
That's the other H&H that I have.
Yeah, I can smell the hint of it, but not as strong as that. So, the one thing that I could almost suggest is that sometimes it's better to taste and try new tobaccos, liquors, beers, even food, things like that, on your own first, and then try it again with the group. Notice how quickly we all were like, yeah, raspberries, when you said raspberries.
Yeah.
And I was thinking it had a slight berry flavor, but then putting a name to it puts a name to it.
It's good thing.
It's like that one Tupac song, where like Suge Shot Me or whatever, right? Was it Tupac or was it Biggie's song? But one of those.
It was Tupac, I think.
Where supposedly there's like the subliminal message at the beginning or whatever, and like the white noise.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And they say that it was him saying Suge Shot Me or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like trying not to think of a pink elephant.
Yeah. Wait, this tells you what kind of music I listen to. Pink Floyd's album Animals has 5 songs on it. It's got Pigs on the Wing Part 1, Sheep, Pigs 3 different ones, Dogs, and Pigs on the Wing Part 2. And the song Dogs has some electronic noises, I guess you could say, through one of the quieter parts that just sound like diddling around on the keyboard, but if somebody whispers to you, those are dogs barking. Instantly, it's the power of suggestion. It sounds like dogs barking. And there are not many other things that I can think of that have that, but a lot of the times, flavors and stuff like tobacco and foods, it's the power of suggestion.
You know, like I can't tell you how many times if someone is asked, like someone would come into the smoke shop and ask, do you have any flavored cigars? And sometimes we'll carry flavored cigars, like actually flavored, but most often than not, we don't have too big of a selection, if any. And so someone will be like, well, what do you have that could have a flavor? And I'm like, well, if you step into the humidor, we have some over here that may have a little bit of a Java flavor to them, a little bit of a hint of coffee beans or things like that, and that'll sell them real quick. And then, for sure, when they go and smoke that, they'll taste it. Mm-hmm. Whether or not they actually tasted it or not, they'll taste it. So, the power of suggestion is very strong.
Well, looks like we're out of time for this chunk.
Yeah, we'll take a quick break and then come back at you when we light up this Perique.
Oh, well. We're all preparing our...
Welcome back. We're all like getting ready. We're all figuring out what we want to smoke. This is that is a delightful aroma.
Yes.
Yes.
And I have my Peterson Shamrock.
Woot woot. Woot woot.
The XL 339.
339.
I like this shape a lot. It's almost like not a drastic oompal, but very close to it.
Close.
Yeah.
It's very tubular.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tubular, dude.
Tubular.
I should have seen that one coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have.
Cylindrical would have been a little bit better.
Cylindrical.
It's more like a tube.
Cuba.
Oh, yes.
Cuba. Well, yeah. Yeah.
So, I'm going to smoke it out of this. What are you going to smoke it out of?
My Brigham Chinook 2013 Brothers of Briar Pipe of the Year, I guess. It's the online forum in which I'm a relatively active member of, called Brothers of Briar. You should go check it out if you're not a member. It's a pretty fantastic site. But yeah, always have a thread for a Pipe of the Year, and this year the Brigham Chinook won out. Interesting thing about Brigham that no one else does, they have a patented rock maple filter insert that is actually reusable and washable. The first time I smoked it, I hated it. But then I realized that I had a chunk of lint or something from the production process in the middle of it, so I had issues with airflow. It killed me. So once I got that all figured out, everything else was fine. And so far, I haven't smoked it that much, but it's actually been a fantastic smoking little pipe. Very reasonably priced too. I mean, they're anywhere from the $50 to $150 range, aren't they? For the most part. I mean, no complaints so far.
What pipe are you going to smoke this out of?
It's a good question. I brought 3 Petersons.
Okay.
A little flame grain, which is unlike a lot of the flame grains you see. It's got a nice silver Celtic thing with a faux Cumberland acrylic bit. The normal Petersons that are flame grains don't look like that. I found that in Ivan Rees in Chicago. In fact, I didn't buy it there. I saw it there when I was there with my father-in-law for the 4th of July. I actually wound up buying a Dunhill there. But I couldn't stop thinking about that pipe. And so, about 2 months later, I called him up and I said, "You still have that?" And I said, "Sure do." And I said, "Well, I want it." So, that's when I got that.
There you go.
And the other 2, I have 2 errands. Probably, if you're looking to get a pipe and you're kind of a first-time pipe smoker,
Peterson Aaron's.
get a Peterson Aaron.
Oh, they're fantastic. It's still my favorite Peterson ever.
Modest
is the Aaron.
price, good grain, handsome shapes, just very good pipes.
Yeah. Very classic.
Very
Yes.
classic pipes.
Oh yeah, no, yeah,
And then
no.
you're smoking yours out of your...
It's a Conquest, or an Irwin's Conquest Lumberman. It's got a little sterling silver band around it.
I believe Irwin's was a brick and mortar, an American brick and mortar.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that what that is it's a GBD.
Oh.
Made for Irwin's in London. So, I don't know, but Eric got a fantastic deal on that.
It's a fantastic little pipe.
And you're a fan of the straight, long shanked pipes.
Canadian Slumberman.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean,
Princes.
yes. I like kind of a smaller pipe at times.
Yeah.
You know, this I don't smoke this very often. I used to smoke the tar out of this guy, and I'm going to smoke it tonight at some point. And this is a Jesse Jones pipe. It's a little short Canadian.
It's a nice pipe.
It's a really nice pipe. And then I've also got my other Jones pipe, freehand, whatchamacallit.
Yeah.
So.
It's a good thing I have these guys for consumers.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
You're selling them like internationally.
Yeah, you just told a story earlier about a wholesaler that bought some pipes from you in the UK.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh,
No, I gotta rely on these guys here,
right.
even though 90% of all your pipes go out.
Yeah.
We get like...
Well, you see almost 100%.
Yeah.
We get to see the process.
We get to see the process a lot,
Like
so...
the VH1 behind the music, it's like, you know...
Behind the shop.
behind the pipes.
Behind the pipes, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It sounds like a 80s porn.
No! Oh, plumber porn?
Oh, God. I'm sure it's happened.
I'm sure it's happened.
Yeah.
You know, talking about that...
I'd say to Google, but I don't want to say that.
No. I saw an article the other day, and I don't remember if it was from the New York Times or something, but it was talking about the advent of drones and stuff. And the article, I don't exactly remember, but paraphrasing, it said, "The advent of the pizza delivery drone or the death of pizza porn." And I was like...
The pizza delivery porn.
The pizza delivery porn, and I was like... I'm conflicted.
Yeah.
That's so...
It's true.
What? Yeah, so, and
Alright.
it struck me as ridiculously hilarious, but, technology, that's good for so many things, but it removes so many other things also. It's like...
I mean, well, that was like the whole big deal with like the automotive industry and
going to robots.
Yeah, and the assembly line that's, you know, Ford really...
You can get it in any color you like as long as it's black.
Yeah, you know, where they had dozens if not hundreds of people on the assembly line, and your job was you pick up the door, you put on the door, and then the person next to you bolts it in.
Yep.
You know, and now it's machine does this, machine does that, machine does this, machine does that, and then the guy looks at it, okay, that's
you're good, you know, I mean, they even
have
have painting robots and stuff now, you know, that can spray paint, you know, primer, base coat, clear, and polish them, you know, in hours compared to, you know, traditionally speaking, you know, a man
A
day to paint, you know, and I mean, it's just, it's really insane to see that. But, you know, a lot of people complain and they say, you know, that's the destruction of jobs and the workforce and things like that. But what they forget and they fail to mention is, yes, the robots may be assembling cars and things like that now, but that just opens up a new market for jobs for people to fix the machines that break down and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a different skill set, but I can't necessarily say
it kills jobs.
It's
per se.
it's creative destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an
Which is an
excellent
economic term, actually, is you know, chaos created with new technologies and things like that remove jobs but make new jobs in that place.
What do you think? Well, let's let them light up before we start. That's what I was waiting.
Keep your group think to yourself.
Yes, yeah. Speaking of, I've been reading 1984. And I've been on a you know a dystopian future novel kick lately, so I just finished up Fahrenheit 451 again and picked up 1984.
I do think the term dystopia is interesting. The reason being is, to me, the idea of a quote-unquote utopia, if it exists, and we have this definition for it, to me, automatically assumes that anything other than it is a dystopia. So how are those types of novels that then explain this, you know, apocalyptic is oftentimes the term used, or like some big cataclysm has happened that has turned it, like there's been like some big fall or some historical event does not happen, you know, then it becomes a dystopia. It's like, no, we're in a dystopia now, currently.
Yeah, which speaking in a literary sense.
There you go.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking in a literary sense, all of these novels that are dystopian novels are talking about utopias.
Yes.
You know, Kurt Vonnegut and Harrison Bergeron, you know, the year is 2084, and with the passing of the 212th, 213th, and 214th Amendments, everyone was equal. It's the same way, you know, it's the utopia where everyone at that point in time is equal, but the way they go about it makes it a dystopia.
Yeah.
So it's almost like an oxymoron. It's like Jumbo Shrimp. You know, a utopia inherently is a dystopia. Because a utopia normally means, you know, no worries, no changes, no differences. It's like the idea of communism. You know, everything, in most definitions, a utopia is everything is perfect, everything is the same.
To me, and not to open up a
can of worms.
If we want to go back to utopias,
yeah,
as the way I feel like the term was coined from, could be used or seen in literature dating back to the Garden of Eden,
yes,
as seen in the Bible and the Torah and all that. So to me, trying to, you know, claim any other type of utopia is interesting, and I feel like it's powerful in that, you know, you're exploring different ideas of what a utopia can be. But I feel like just in and of itself, the idea behind those sorts of things are, you know, conflated, and I feel like they've been twisted to just work towards whatever the author is meaning for it to be, and that's fine because that's the whole point of writing.
Yes.
You know, it's to get a message out there, whatever that message may be. But in a manner of sense, you know, the term has been skewed, at least in my eyes.
Yeah, I can see that. I can agree with that.
And I feel like we can continue on this topic, but I do have to. It just reminded me of something I saw. So, the vulgar term pussy. Okay?
Okay.
Someone was saying, you know, like, it was online, I think it might have been even on Reddit at some point, and someone was just like, you know, pussy, like, don't call someone a pussy if they're being weak or whatever, it's like, no, if you think of childbirth and all that the woman has to go through, a pussy is a very strong thing.
Call him a nutsack.
Yeah, but then someone was just like, well, actually, pussy is not, it's not talking about the anatomical part, it's actually a shortening of the term pusillanimous.
Pusillanimous? Okay.
which actually means weak, meager, you know.
So then it's not a bad word.
No, it's not. Saying you're a pussy is actually
A
shortened term of pusillanimous, which means
You're pusillanimous.
you're weak, you're meager, you're being, you know, cowardly.
The more you know.
Let's start using the unabbreviated word.
I know, exactly. That's fine. But and it was funny. Like the quote after that was just like, literally no one knows this.
Literally no one. Like all I can think is that banner with like the stars. Like, the more you know.
Yeah, and it was one of those types of moments. You're just like, and I saw that. I'm like, what? Touche, English. We keep because like. You know, everyone's like talking about how modern vernacular is just destroying the English language, but at the same time, no. We are a tricksy bunch. We
are still using those words just in different ways.
Yes, yeah. And I'm like, I like this.
I also read something
I'm a fan.
and I don't give me quoting the wrong things and stuff, but I read an article that was talking about the advent of good words and bad words, especially in English. And most good words, per se, things that we think of in good terms and stuff, tend to come from Latin roots and Greek roots and things like that. Whereas most bad words, like, excuse my French, fuck, things like that, are based in Germanic languages. And it was talking about how...
I don't know about that.
But the article was talking about the fact that in English society and whatnot, generally speaking, most words that we attribute as being bad and stuff don't necessarily have. They have more Germanic roots and things like that, which I thought was kind of interesting. So it was talking about it. I forget. It was talking about we always look at the Germans. They're all bad. They're rough. Nazis. Blah. But it was talking about the roots of those words. And
so what were you gonna say? You don't know about that?
I don't know if that's the case.
No?
If you look at the English profanity, for lack of a better term, and the German equivalent thereof, yes, they sound very similar. But which begat which?
Yeah.
At this point in history, I think it's hard to tell unless you really know where to look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know the context in which those native speakers were intermingling and the because you think back and you look at, say for instance, the British Isles, and there was a Roman presence there for a long time, and people forget that. There's a Roman wall.
Hadrian's Wall.
Yeah. And in Britain, it's like, what the hell is this doing here?
Exactly.
And that actually was where part of that whole language, the root thing, came from for the good words and bad words, is the fact that it talked about the Roman occupation in Britain and things like that. To them, Germanic words were that was a vulgar, harsh, unknown language, and it kind of got ingrained.
Yeah, well, if you listen to someone try and speak Latin, now granted it's considered a dead language, but at the same time, if you hear someone speak Latin, it is not a very...
It's not a pretty language.
No,
it's not pretty at all.
It's definitely not a romantic or a love language.
Yeah, well, but they call it a romance language. Like, all of the quote-unquote romance languages stemmed from it.
Yes.
And you're just like, really?
It was like the awkward pubescent love.
It's like blocky and stiff and awkward.
Check yes or no if you think I'm cute.
Right.
That sort of thing,
Agreed, yeah.
This is where it matured into the debonair, French or Italian.
Yeah, so I don't know. It was like I said, don't even quote the wrong thing, but that was the gist of the article was. So it was kind of interesting. It was something I had never really thought about. So I guess something to take with a grain of salt. But if you can go find that article, read it.
Etymology in and of itself is really interesting.
It is. It really is.
And I feel like too many people look at it for face value, like just kind of neat facts. Like, oh, okay, so this is where this word comes from. But I feel like it reaches farther than that. This is the basis of language we're talking about. And language is one of those things that...
It's the basis of society. It's the basis of the thoughts in that society.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
In fact, my father gave me a book to read. And I guess the theory behind the book is somewhat controversial. And they're really talking about the superiority of the English language, of Anglos. Not necessarily as an ethnicity, but as the spoken language.
Oh, yeah.
And how there is something inherent with English that makes the Anglosphere so successful in today's society.
Yeah, I do think though it's and you talked about it that it's so hard to draw the line because you said it's talking about the superiority of Anglos in a culturally speaking, and not necessarily of the culture itself, but they're so intertwined. I mean, there's a Japanese word, and I don't know it, but it's a Japanese word that doesn't have an English translation that talks about the way you feel seeing the breeze blow through cherry blossom trees.
Yeah.
And the feeling it gives you. There's a word for that, you know?
Was it German Schadenfreude?
Yeah, Schadenfreude, exactly, you know? Pleasure at the misfortune of others, you know, stuff like that. There's, I mean, and you can hearken that back to, you know, the cultures themselves and what they put emphasis on. In Swahili, there's really no general term for like a girlfriend, someone you're dating, because in most instances you're not really seeing someone seriously unless they're a prospect for marriage. And so the term that they can somewhat translate is mchumba, M-C-H-U-M-B-A, and it's almost the equivalent of more of like a fiance than a boyfriend or a girlfriend, because it's understood that when you call someone an mchumba, that this is someone who is important enough to you that they have met your parents. And in that culture, in the Swahili culture, you wouldn't introduce a potential lover, partner, whatever, to your parents unless it's pretty much like, this is the person I'm going to be marrying. So it just has that inherent fiance feel to it because culturally, that's the only one that fits. So when you look at like what words exist in certain cultures or languages that don't in other languages, you know, looking at the etymology then of those words leads you back to more of a sociology type
sociological
view.
perspective.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Well, here we go. I had to find it in my history. It's 15 terms of endearment that the English should adopt. And it's, you know, different languages and stuff. So like French is mon chou, which is my cabbage. I got an ad, stupid ads. Close! Let's see here. The next one I believe is German, it's Schnuckiputzi.
What? What?
Hang on, go.
Oh, is the technology screwing with you?
Schnuckiputzi. Cutie pie.
Okay.
The next one is Sotnus, which is, I guess, sweet nose in Swedish. You know, I mean, just all these ones.
So, again, Tanzania, where I started.
Yeah.
In Swahili, there's a turn of phrase that you can say someone has a cold heart, or they have cooled your heart. You know, think back to that one South Park episode. We'll cool his hot heart with a cold Irish island song or something like that, right? No, but in a country that's near the equator, it's only 1,000 kilometers south. It's hot almost year round, and so saying someone has a cold heart is actually a compliment there.
Yeah.
Because cool and the feeling of being cooler than it is the rest of the time.
Means they're comfortable.
Yeah, it's comfortable. It's good. It's a nice thing, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I think my favorite on here is Moja Solnishka. It's my little son in Russian.
nice.
You know, I'm like, they're fantastic, you know? It's just things you don't hear in English. And there's not really necessarily literal, you know, not necessarily a good translation for them. And I'm sure in those languages the connotation is a little different than the English translation. But, you know, it's just, it's interesting to think about.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's crazy. It's just, but yeah, it was an interesting article.
If you know of a phrase in another language that doesn't have a direct translation into English, put it in the comments. Let's see what you can come up with. If you can find the one in Japanese where it's like talking about the wind through the trees or whatever, put that, because I don't remember it.
That does remind me of another Japanese one. It's umami. which represents, you know, a flavor profile, I guess. But it's like salty and kind of bitter and kind of sweet, but it's nothing we really have.
MSG.
MSG.
Yeah, actually,
MSG falls under umami.
Yeah.
The yum-yum drug.
Yep. Umami is based off of the taste of monosodium glutamate. Yeah,
monosodium glutamate.
There we go. Which is MSG. So like, it is a flavoring.
Yeah.
That was put into stuff, and you know all of the bad.
MSG will kill us.
Yeah.
But it sure does taste good.
Oh yeah.
But like it created this other potential type of flavor. Because there's like sweet, salty, sour, you know, savory,
bitter.
Yeah, bitter. Like those, there's like, I think it was like 4 or 5 flavor types, and then anything could be put into those, and then umami was a different one.
Yeah.
You know, so kind of cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Well,
is it break time?
We're about time for another break. So now that we've kind of gotten to puffing a little bit on these pipes and whatnot, we'll get back to you after the break and let you know what we think about this pipe tobacco.
Yeah. Welcome back. It was a little bit of a longer break simply because we had to take care of some stuff real quick, but we're glad you stayed tuned. And now we need to talk about this fine tobacco that the 2 of you have finished smoking and the 2 of us are still currently smoking.
Mind how the roles have changed.
Yeah, I smoke cigars extremely fast. I smoke pipes pretty dang slow in comparison to the other guys. I mean, the 7x70 cigar that I told you about.
Oh my god, you hit that done in like an hour and a half.
Yeah, an hour and a half. And I finished that cigar.
That's an afternoon smoke for me. Like from noon to 4, afternoon smoke.
Like a Churchill's a solid hour and a half. Sometimes hour and 45.
Yeah, and I finished that in 45 minutes, maybe an hour at the most.
Oh god,
crazy.
Yeah, and I don't tunnel it. I don't.
No, it smokes just fine.
I don't point it. I don't anything. So I smoke the cigar correctly, in for lack of a better term. I smoke it fast, but pipes are a different story. So, what did you think of the Perique?
I enjoyed it. I'll have to smoke a couple more bowls really to decide whether or not I like it.
Well,
but
it works out well. The you know
tin
is yours.
Tin is yours.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
You can have many more.
But overall, it was a good smoke. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's really all I can say at the moment.
Yeah. It to me it was a lot milder than I thought it was going to be. From the smell itself, I thought it was going to just bowl me over with flavors and almost be too complex.
Yeah.
But it was surprisingly balanced. And you mentioned raspberries when we were smelling it, but I didn't
taste raspberries.
I didn't taste it at all.
I tasted a little bit of a sweetness that could maybe be attributed to fruit, or like a fruity type of sweetness, but I couldn't place it like we placed the smell.
In general, it almost had like a Maduro earthiness to it.
Yeah.
You know? And it's slightly bitter, not in a bad way, but just a shade umami.
Yeah.
Umami, you know? I mean, it's very earthy, which is kind of surprising. It's been a while since I've had a tobacco that I can, like a pipe tobacco that I can say is earthy in the sense of nearly like a cigar.
It's like Kentucky.
Yeah.
You know, I've been trying a lot of blends of Kentucky lately. Navigator is one of them. And Kentucky is incredibly strong. And it's almost got a sour, sort of bitter taste to it.
Yeah.
And a little smokiness. I found that Perique blend to be, it burned well.
Yeah.
And it was very supple. I think it would grow on me.
Mm-hmm.
It also tended to burn really hot.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It burns.
Like this Peterson has pretty thick walls, and it was heating up. Like
mine got hot real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
My Brigham got real hot. It was.
I smoked mine slow enough to where I wasn't really feeling too much. And this Shamrock, it's not the thinnest walls, but it's also not the thickest walls.
Right.
So, in this shape, this pretty straight, cylindrical, as you said, tubular shape really, to me, is conducive to heating up really quickly. Because it's not like a more bell-shaped or bulbous shape.
The heat's distributed evenly through it.
Yeah.
Whereas.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, it's a good tobacco. It's interesting.
I enjoyed it. There was a bit of grass. I tasted some grass.
Yeah.
Or like hay, almost. And it'd be interesting to smoke it for a while, or like if we were all still puffing away at it, what the room note would have been like to someone walking in.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you're just immersed in the smoke, you can't really notice it as
That's
much.
kind of, that's one of the reasons I don't particularly enjoy aromatics, because they taste nothing like they smell.
Yeah.
And when you're smoking them, you can't smell them.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Aromatics are good for the enjoyment, or for others' enjoyment.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are a couple exceptions. Butterberry is one that actually tastes good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Butterberry tastes like butterberry.
Yeah. It tastes like it
It's
smells.
the best aromatic I've ever had.
Oh my goodness, it's fantastic. I will say, surprisingly enough, and we discovered this a couple of years ago after the Kansas City Pipe Show, the Sutliff private stock aromatics tend to be what they smell is pretty close to what they taste.
Yes.
You know that Barbados Plantation by Sutliff? I really enjoyed that. And I typically don't enjoy those thicker, kind of goopier aromatics.
Yeah.
No.
But that's one that I've smoked several tins out of.
Yeah, I'd say my personal favorite out of the bunch, because I don't smoke aromatics hardly at all. The level of black Cavendish in them tend to bother me quite a bit. But
See, butterberries, I enjoyed the flavor of very much. I love the smell. And I like it better than I like the black Cavendish, and I loved the black Cavendish. That I started off. That was my first pipe tobacco that I ever bought. It was
Just straight
great.
black
Black
cat.
Cavendish.
Yeah, and it was very creamy to me. Tasted great. Smelled awesome. Yeah, see, I loved it, and Bobby, you can't handle it. You might be able to handle it at Hans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
But
I don't know why that reminded me, but I saw a Sergei Cherepanov pipe.
Yep.
A Briar calabash.
Ooh.
It was blue.
What?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fun.
ooh.
So
Blue bash.
a blue bash.
Bash. Blue loop.
Calm down.
I want my blue loop.
That's
Anyways,
what I'm working on it.
as far as Southern is concerned, I'm quite a big fan of their Taste of Summer, which is a peaches and cream blend.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It
I remember that
smells like peaches and cream, and it tastes like.
I don't
peaches
remember the name of it, but there's this one that smells like cherry Twizzler pull.
Spinnaker.
Spinnaker.
That's right. Yeah.
Spinnaker smells like Twizzler.
It smells like Twizzler pull and peel, and it tastes like Twizzler pull and peel.
I will say for a pipe tobacco, it is one that I do not care to smoke because that flavor is so off the wall compared
Yeah.
to
Yes.
anything else
Yes.
that it's like,
And
I can't handle this.
if I remember right, I think that was out of my grab bag.
Yes,
From
yes.
Yes.
the pipe show.
'Cause you
and
popped that
I
tin
popped it. I popped
in the
the top
truck.
on it, and I was like, God,
We were
Twizzlers.
in the truck.
Yes,
We're in
yeah,
the truck.
yeah,
Everybody's smoking. I've got my calabash driving down the road. I have a large cat. Well, it's been on the video.
And his
you know.
captain's hat.
Yeah, I've got my captain's hat on, my large calabash. I'm smoking away, and we could smell that. And all of us
No
were like,
sooner had it opened and the scent escaped.
Then
that
we were all
everybody
like,
was like, What
is that?
Yeah, what is that? And then I think
We
it was
stopped
me.
and we got Twizzlers.
And we got Twizzlers, and we compared the two, and sure enough,
Identical.
Twizzler pull and peel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for a nice sweet smoke,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
I don't even remember who makes it.
Thing is, though, we probably shouldn't say
Something.
it smells and tastes like Twizzler pull and peel because
Power
they'll
of
get,
suggestion.
no, because they'll get railroaded for
Right.
having a candy flavored tobacco.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
But,
It's a
yeah,
licorice flavor.
yeah, there you go. But
Red
no,
licorice.
because liquor, like, okay,
Red
I'm
licorice.
sorry.
No. Licorice is. I like licorice,
I don't.
but it's
Like there's this Greek. Is it ouzo?
ouzo.
Is this Greek liqueur?
It's made from anise.
Yeah.
And also, if anybody's ever had traditional European absinthe,
Yeah.
it's also heavily spiced with anise.
very much like licorice. You're just
Ooh.
taking a swig, and I mean it's like taking a licorice root and just going.
Yep.
And just.
And it's like wow. Yeah.
I don't do it well.
Wow-wee!
Wow-wee!
It's the reason why I don't like Jaeger, actually. Jaeger is licorice.
See, and I find that to be almost crazy to believe, and it's probably partly because of my affinity for licorice, but anytime I've ever had Jaeger, I've never tasted the anise in it.
I do.
And I guess it's just because I like it that
it's like a pow right in the kisser for me.
Pow in the kisser.
Pow in the kisser. Wow-wee!
Yeah.
Metalocalypse.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, just as it's a segue here, European absinthe has this eclectic background of the green fairy because it has wormwood in it. It has traces of the active hallucinogenic that's present in wormwood. But I can tell you that the amount you need to drink in order for that to be effective is enough to make you go to the hospital for alcohol poisoning before you ever hallucinate.
Hopefully that's not from experience, right?
No. Actually, it's the starving artist kind of thing. It got this interesting rap because it was the alcohol of choice for many artists. You know, many literary greats and things like that.
Yeah, because there was one. Who was the art? There was a
Van
writer.
Gogh. Well, Van Gogh loved it.
Yeah, and there was a writer who drank like pretty much straight that.
Yes.
Gave that bitch an ear.
Yeah.
Love ears.
Ears. Oh my god. But the thing to keep in mind with absinthe is, especially at the time, not only was it extraordinarily cheap, it was pretty much like the second or third rate liquor. It was nothing like what we consider it now, like nearly, got this like
top tier
stuff. Not only was it extraordinarily cheap to make, but unlike most liquors, an average medium strength absinthe is at about 145 proof. Unlike everything else being at 80 proof.
Yeah.
I mean, it's extraordinarily strong, so you got the most bang for your buck out of absinthe. And if you like licorice, which most Europeans do, I haven't found really anybody that doesn't, and their licorice is so much stronger than ours, there you go, have at it, So it's kind of an interesting misnomer that you will hallucinate after you've drank a lot of absinthe, but it's not from the wormwood, it's from alcohol poisoning.
Yeah.
Should we explain what the ear comment was about in case someone doesn't know?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Go
so
ahead.
the comments I made was gave that bitch an ear. Bitches love ears. Well, Van Gogh was a crazy son of a bitch.
Also colorblind.
And also, well, I don't know about that.
Well, I'll talk about that later.
Okay, I never knew that. But, and I'm the artist here, whatever. But Van Gogh cut off his ear and mailed it or gave it to his wife or girlfriend or his significant other, and thus the phrase originated.
Yes. It was a true sign of affection, I guess.
I have nothing else to give you.
The intentions were good, but God, that's creepy.
Good intentions, piss poor follow through.
Yeah.
Lend me your ears, huh?
Lend me your ears.
Friends, Robin's countrymen.
All I think of then is Robin Hood Men in Tights when he's like, "Lend me your ears," and everyone just pops them off
an ear.
chucks it at him. He's got like one like
hanging out of it, like
Or
okay,
Ace
so
Ventura's "Lend me your ears."
Yes.
Lend me your ears, yes. So another segue talking about Van Gogh and the whole color blindness thing. I was reading, which this popped up not too terribly long ago, but an art student, I guess, in his MFA program, who he was not, I believe he was a photographer or something, but he suffered from color blindness, was looking at some of Van Gogh's photos and realized that the eccentric colors and certain things he never saw. And so him and I believe some scientists at MIT ran it through some filters that would simulate color blindness. And his paintings actually became much more subdued and more akin to the traditional paintings of the time as far as color scales. So there's lots of speculation that Van Gogh was actually colorblind, which is why his self-portrait in Starry Night has these interesting splotches of color through it. He couldn't see them. They were something else to him.
Yeah.
They weren't.
Starry Night's still trippy though. Even I feel like even if it was put through that filter or whatever, and I haven't seen this filter, but even if it was put through there, the motion in that painting, that would still be trippy.
Your eyes travel a lot when you look at that painting.
Oh yeah.
And to me, that's one thing that, like when I go to an art museum, that I oftentimes find myself doing is I take track of how much motion is in the painting or in the piece by where my eyes naturally follow.
Is that a rubric for you then, as to decide whether or not you like the painting?
Oftentimes it is. If I wind up where I'm looking at a piece and my eyes go to just some random place and then stay there, and it's either uninteresting in comparison to the rest of it, or it's not where I would logically think I should be.
If your eye doesn't go through the whole painting,
yes,
you lose interest. If it goes through just a part of it, you still have the interest.
It's not necessarily even as rudimentary as that, but I feel like, to me, I feel like there's a certain flow to a piece of art. Like there's lines that you're supposed to follow and things like that. Not necessarily supposed to, but
they lend themselves to it.
Yes,
you tend to follow.
Yes, okay. And if I find myself fighting with any flow, like I'm trying to follow a line and then it's either disjointed, or if it just brings me to a certain place and then I'm almost backed into a corner, that will leave a foul taste in my mouth.
So I infer that you don't care for Picasso and those modernist paintings.
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
See, and I respect, I don't like necessarily love Picasso's paintings, but I do enjoy them. I really love Duchamp's work. Like, my favorite painting of all time is his Nude Descending a Staircase, which you can look it up and see it. But
well, how do you spell that then? How do you spell his name?
Duchamp?
Yeah.
Duchamp.
Duchamp.
D-U Champ.
Okay, yeah, just, you know.
Yeah.
Duchamp. Okay.
Yeah.
Silly French.
Silly French.
Marcel Duchamp.
Marcel Duchamp.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, but the thing is, even in those types of paintings, there still is some semblance of a flow to them. Mm-hmm. Very much
Absolutely.
so. But,
for sure.
But to me, and it doesn't have to be one continuous line, but there is a set of motion to a piece, and if it stagnates or brings me to an unfavorable place in the painting or the work, I just tend to struggle with getting either a deeper meaning or a more pleasant view of it.
You would have hated one of Duchamp's works then, the urinal. He just went to a hardware store, bought a urinal, entered it into a gallery that was having an open show. They would accept anything. And so he signed it R. Mutt and entered it into the gallery
I would have taken a leak in it.
as a
out
test,
there in the middle of everything.
pushing the boundaries, and thus began the ready-made art.
I respect the idea of pushing boundaries.
Yeah.
It's not that I lose respect, but I disfavor just pushing boundaries to push boundaries. Yes. Like, to me, doing something for the sake of doing something, like, there is always an underlying reason. There is always. And if you argue that there is not, I want to slap you.
Like the music of that one guy, what, Cage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But it's also like jam bands, if we're talking music, where, like, and I'll use this as an example, like Fish, where their concerts where one song may last 45 minutes because they just got into this jam, I would leave. You know, like Dave Matthews Band, where almost
he's like Jazz Odyssey says shit.
Yeah, like, and where, you know, one song sounds like the next song sounds like the next song, and you're just kind of like, yeah.
Basically ambient music.
Yes, it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts because, and I'm okay with really long pieces. Like, I will sit down and listen to. What?
YYZ.
Yeah.
YYZ.
Yeah. But like, I will listen to like longer pieces of music and be fine with it. But when it's just noise,
yeah,
and it's incoherent and it's just
like,
kind of like,
I could go listen to my street if I wanted that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. To me, there's no underlying reason behind it, and they're purposely doing it for that point, and that drives me up the wall.
Ah, okay, fair enough.
Alright.
Yeah. Plus, I'm also from the Chicago suburbs, and you know, Dave Matthews Band when he emptied out his tour buses.
Crapper
you know, commode reservoir while they were passing over a bridge over the Chicago River, and the tour bus emptied out their waste repository, and it landed on a tour boat that was going underneath the bridge at the same time. Oh man, did they have to pay out the ass for that one. And I was just like, that's what you get. That's what you get, Dave Matthews. Fuck your couch. Fuck your couch.
Consider your couch thoroughly fucked.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry, sometimes I really have to, like, check myself and realize it's okay that he shares the same name as me. I have that much of a distaste for him and his music. And it stinks because, like, individually, each one of the members of his group are fantastic music.
Carter Beauford is one of the best drummers on the face of the earth right now.
And I feel like by joining together in that group, they're wasting so much talent. And I may have lost a portion of the fan base. And that's fine. Continue watching for the sake of these guys, and maybe just, like, secretly hate me. That's fine. Because I'm not going to secretly hate Dave Matthews. I will overtly hate Dave Matthews' band.
To quote Oscar Wilde, a friend will stab you in the front.
Yes, exactly. With a sharpened toothbrush, shank.
Drops
Shank and
walks off stage.
Yep. Kink.
So
please,
don't call it a comeback. No,
tell me, if you were to shank me, please walk off like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do the Leonardo DiCaprio.
I will sashay out of the place.
Oh, you're gonna do like the Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, the happy walk. Yeah.
That's it. That's it right there. That's getting back on a tobacco-related note. This is.
And back.
I'm the burly smoker, I guess, out of the group. I can handle burly just fine. Jesse here cannot at all. His aversion to burly is like my aversion to Cavendish.
It's like taking a pail full of hot lava and just pouring it on my tongue.
It's pretty miserable. But I brought up a tin of some tobacco that's one of my favorites. I don't keep it around very often because I try too many things. My attention span's not long enough. But it's the Solani Aged Burley Flake Blend to 656. It's one of the most fantastic flakes I think I keep around. Well, it seems our battery has struck again.
So, yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in.
And we'll get to you next time. Thank you for enjoying Through the Smoke.